it's Nina, and thanks for joining me today for a new tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a very easy to make card for Father's Day using our Simon Says Stamp Suzy watercolor prints. These are exclusive to Simon Says Stamp and make your card making so easy because all you need are these fun coloring cards, your favorite mediums such as markers, pencils, or watercolors, and some embellishments. For this card, I'm going to be using Copic markers, but you could substitute for any medium you like most. So I'm pulling out my Copic marker color chart. This is something that is really helpful for me in seeing what colors I have and which ones I want to use for a certain project. I started off with some dark blue colors. I wanted to make a night scene, so I picked out some really dark blues that I could layer on top of each other to get a really deep colored sky. And if you're interested in any of the color combinations I used, I do have them listed over on the Simon Says Stamp blog. As I'm coloring, I'm not overly concerned about any areas that I might have gone outside the lines, because I can come back in and clean those up as I color, especially with paper like this. This is watercolor paper, distressed watercolor paper, and it's a very forgiving paper. So if I have any little mistakes, I'm not overly worried about having those in my coloring, because I can come back in and fix them. I'm coming back in with some lighter blues because as I'm creating this night scene, you'll notice that there's the moon in the background, but this could also be a sun. Because I have that moon there, the moon is going to be casting some golden light and some bright color onto certain areas of the scene. So I want to make sure to reserve some areas where I can have those lighter colors show through and kind of give that golden glow. So like the tops of the clouds, those are something I want to make sure that I keep a nice highlight on. Same thing goes with around the moon. When you look at the moon, there's always that nice golden glow around the moon. And it's that bright light that's just shining around it. So I used a light marker, the BG01, to add some highlight around the moon. As I colored in the mountains, I made sure to reserve some areas that were going to have some light cast on them. And as I was coloring, I wasn't trying to be super careful with where those light areas would be. I just wanted to have some. On the mountains, I picked out some E80 colors. I used E89 for the darkest, E87, E84, and then E81 is the lightest color. The trees I kept super simple and I just did a single layer of color over each one. And this is because there's a lot of them and I wanted to give some lighter and darker trees throughout this tiny little forest. So I decided that the coolest way for me would be to just kind of color each one a different color. And I really loved how that turned out. Now for the grass, I'm going to start off by using a couple of dark markers. But when I come back in with the yellow colors for the moon, I'm actually going to create some areas that are going to have the moon shadows creating a golden light on the grass. So we'll come back to that in a minute. But I first just want to get down some darker areas of color to give this grassy scene a nice nighttime feel. That tent is really cute and I wanted there to be some pops of color in this scene, especially since we've got a lot of green and brown throughout this entire card. So I brought in some R markers. I used R56 and 59, and then I brought in a couple of orange markers. And these are really cool because these really add some nice contrast to the red colors, but at the same time, it also balances out the yellow that we're gonna have in the moon up in the sky. And we also have that nice little fire pit down along the bottom too, which is also going to help with that as well. At this point, I'm ready to add in the golden colors. So I used Y00 for the base color of the moon, and then I'm going to bring in some brighter yellows. And I'm making sure to leave an area that's really light on the moon just to give it that really nice golden glow. And like I mentioned earlier, I also brought in those golden colors across the entire scene to emulate the moon shining on them. So for the grass, I added some yellow streaks, and you'll notice as these start to dry back, they get more vibrant. And I'll add in a little bit of darker coloring too, just to help intensify that golden glow. I go over the grass portion with a little bit of green just to soften things out a little bit. But this is a really great way to give your scene a little bit more of a lifelike look. And you can see it really brings the whole entire coloring together. Like I said earlier, I wanted to make sure that this moon looked like it was casting that golden glow on the clouds and the mountains. So I came back through with that yellow marker and added those highlights. I softened it out with my lightest Y marker, and then I let everything dry before I came back in with some embellishments. So for the embellishments, I started off with some Ultra Bond glue. This is just a clear liquid adhesive from Therm, and I wanted something that was going to dry clear because I wanted to kind of show through that coloring that we added for the moon shining on top of these mountaintops. So I chose a clear adhesive that's going to hold down this unicorn glitter dust from Simon Says Stamp. So I sprinkled that over the mountains, and I'll let that dry just so that I can get these really pretty glitter snow-capped mountains. For the sentiments, I brought in some greetings from the Sentiment Strips 3 set. This has some great sentiments for Dad in this set. So I picked out 2 of them, and I cut the one into 2 pieces just to give it a little bit more interest, and popped those up off of the seam. My final bit of embellishing was some stars and some white gel pen details in the night sky, and a little bit of AQUA shimmer pen over top of the clouds and also the golden glow of the fire pit. There was very few supplies needed for this card, and I wanted to show you how a small list of supplies can create a really awesome scene like this card here that we made using the Simon Says Stamp and Suzy's watercolor prints. In no time at all, you're left with this really great card, and I think it's a great way to be able to make some fun cards, not just for Dad, but we also have a whole variety of other fun themed cards that you can color and make some really great cards with. So I'd encourage you to check out all of our Suzy watercolor print series. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you will give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more inspiration. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!